In the outskirts of Louisville, Kentucky, an abandoned railroad trestle rises above Pope Lick Creek. To most, it would appear identical to countless other rusting bridges scattered across America's forgotten rail lines. But those who live nearby know better. They know this particular structure is stalked by a creature so terrifying that the mere sight of it drives witnesses into a fatal panic, some fleeing directly into the path of oncoming trains, others freezing in place, until tons of steel make the decision for them. For over 70 years, bodies have been discovered on the tracks and in the ravine below, each death officially ruled an accident or trespassing gone wrong. Yet survivors tell a different story. They speak of glowing eyes that pierce the darkness, of a voice that calls their name with impossible familiarity, of something that moves with unnatural speed across the creaking timbers, neither fully animal nor fully human, but a grotesque fusion of both. The authorities blame curiosity and poor judgment. The victims' families demand answers that never come. But the legend persists, and the trestle continues to claim new lives, leaving one haunting question echoing through the Kentucky woods: what truly haunts the shadows of Pope Lick Creek? Show some love by hitting like and subscribe button. There are more dark legends waiting to be told, and your support keeps them coming. The Pope Lick Beast doesn't have a single origin story, it has too many. This alone sets it apart from most American cryptids, which typically trace back to one defining moment or witness account. But the creature haunting the trestle seems to emerge from multiple timelines simultaneously, as if it's been waiting in different forms for the right moment to coalesce into legend. The most popular tale dates to 1946, when a circus train allegedly derailed near the trestle during a violent thunderstorm. Among the scattered wreckage and panicked animals, witnesses claimed one railcar held something that wasn't supposed to exist, a sideshow exhibit billed as Satan's rejected son. The performer, they said, was a man born cursed with goat legs and twisted horns, paraded from town to town in chains. When the train went off the rails, he vanished into the woods. Some locals insist he survived by hunting livestock and eventually went completely feral, forgetting his humanity until only the beast remained. Others claim he died that night, but his rage at a lifetime of exploitation bound his spirit to the bridge where his cage was finally broken. Yet older residents remember hearing about the beast long before any circus disaster. Their grandparents spoke of a farmer named Amos Schefter who worked the land near Pope Lick Creek in the late 1800s. Crop failures and debt pushed him to desperation. On a moonless October night, he allegedly walked to the newly constructed trestle and called out to whatever dark powers might be listening, offering anything for prosperity. Something answered. Within a year, Schefter's farm flourished beyond reason while he withdrew from society, seen only at dusk walking the property on legs that no longer bent quite right. When neighbors finally investigated, they found his farmhouse abandoned and the livestock slaughtered in a way that suggested ritual rather than predation. Schefter was never seen again as a man, but something started appearing on the bridge at night. The oldest story, whispered by those who study local Native American history, suggests the trestle was built directly over an ancient ceremonial ground where blood sacrifices were offered to appease a horned god of boundaries and thresholds. According to this account, the beast isn't a transformed human at all but something far more primal, a guardian spirit that has always existed in that liminal space between the civilized and the wild. The railroad simply gave it a new hunting ground. What makes the Pope Lick Beast so unsettling isn't just its appearance or its violence. It's the multiplicity of its births, each contradicting the others yet all somehow true. It's as if the creature exists outside conventional origin, manifesting differently depending on who's telling the story, who's searching for it, or perhaps who it's chosen to reveal itself to. The beast isn't just a monster with a mysterious past. It's a mystery that wears the shape of a monster. Show some love by hitting like and subscribe button. There are more dark legends waiting to be told, and your support keeps them coming. Jack Baum was 17 when he learned that some voices can't be ignored, no matter how desperately you want to. It was August 1988, and he'd driven his girlfriend Sarah to the trestle on a dare, the kind of stupid teenage gambit that seems harmless until it isn't. They parked his truck at the tree line just after midnight, armed with flashlights and the invincibility that comes from not yet understanding mortality. They were halfway across the bridge when they heard it. Not a sound from the darkness ahead or the woods behind, but something that seemed to originate from inside their own skulls while simultaneously echoing off the metal framework around them. Jack would later struggle to describe it to police, settling on inside and outside your head at the same time. It started as a low murmur, almost like wind through the trestle's beams, then resolved into something that made his blood ice over. His name, spoken in his father's voice, followed by Sarah's name in a tone that mimicked her mother's gentle cadence perfectly. The rational part of his mind screamed at him to run back to the truck, but his legs had stopped obeying rational commands. He felt himself turning toward the far end of the trestle, his feet moving forward across the gaps between the railroad ties as if pulled by invisible strings. Sarah was doing the same, walking with the mechanical precision of someone in a trance. The voice kept calling, cycling through different registers. Now his grandfather, now Sarah's older sister, now someone he didn't recognize but felt he should. That's when he saw it. The thing stood at the center of the bridge, approximately 60 feet away, perfectly still in a shaft of moonlight that somehow made it more terrible rather than less. It had the general silhouette of a man, broad shoulders, muscular arms, an upright posture, but the proportions were subtly wrong in a way that hurt to look at directly. The legs bent backward at the knee like a goat's, ending in what looked like hooves that clicked against the metal when it shifted its weight. Curved horns rose from a head that was too elongated, too angular, catching the light like polished bone. But it was the eyes that paralyzed him. They reflected the moonlight with that distinctive animal eyeshine, flat, unblinking, predatory. Yet behind that inhuman glow was something worse. Awareness. Intelligence. The recognition that it knew exactly what it was doing to them, understood the mechanics of their terror, and was using that understanding with surgical precision. The spell broke only when Sarah stumbled, her foot catching in a gap between ties. The sharp crack of her ankle snapping cut through the hypnotic fog like a gunshot. Jack grabbed her, the creature's call still echoing in his mind, and dragged them both backward. He never remembered the sprint back across the trestle, just the feeling of those eyes watching them retreat, patient and amused, as if it had simply been testing them to see how far they would go before their survival instinct finally overrode the compulsion. The beast doesn't chase. It doesn't need to. It calls, and people walk toward death wearing their own legs. Show some love by hitting like and subscribe button. There are more dark legends waiting to be told, and your support keeps them coming. Roquel Bain drove 5 hours from Dayton, Ohio with a specific goal: to become the person who finally proved the Pope Lick Beast existed. At 26, she'd built a modest following on YouTube documenting paranormal investigations, and the beast represented her potential breakout moment. She arrived at the trestle just after 8 p.m. on April 23, 2016, accompanied by her boyfriend and another friend, all three armed with smartphones, a digital camera, and the kind of confidence that comes from watching danger through a screen rather than experiencing it firsthand. The internet had transformed the Pope Lick legend from a local ghost story into a viral challenge. What previous generations approached with caution and respect, social media had repackaged as content. Urban explorers posted videos with clickbait titles promising real footage, and we summoned the beast. Each video spawned dozens more, an algorithmic feedback loop that measured success in views and engagement rather than survival. Rochelle had studied them all, convinced she could do better, go further, capture something definitive. According to her boyfriend's later testimony, they climbed onto the trestle around 8:30 p.m. Rochelle was filming, narrating her expectations for the camera, performing fearlessness for an audience that would never materialize. They made it roughly 200 feet onto the bridge when the footage on her phone, later recovered from the scene, shows her stopping mid-sentence, head tilting as if listening to something the microphone couldn't capture. What happened in the next 90 seconds remains partially unclear, obscured by shaky footage and darkness. But witnesses in houses near the trestle heard screaming, not the excited shrieks of thrill-seekers but something raw, more primal. Then came the sound they all recognized, the blaring emergency horn of a Norfolk Southern freight train, its engineer desperately trying to warn whoever was on the bridge. Rochelle's friends managed to press themselves into the trestle's support structure as the train thundered past, a technique that had saved others before. Rochelle either didn't understand the maneuver or couldn't execute it in time. The engineer never saw her until it was too late. Her body was found on the tracks shortly after 9 p.m. The friend who survived, still shaking when police arrived, kept repeating a phrase that didn't make it into official reports but circulated through local accounts. She saw something. Right before the train. She was walking toward it. Rochelle's phone, cracked but functional, contained 17 minutes of footage. The video ends abruptly, the final frame showing nothing but darkness and the faint reflection of something catching the light, 2 points of brightness that could have been anything, or could have been eyes. Her YouTube channel, Frozen in Time, still displays her last video from 2 days before her death. The title reads, "Going to face the Pope Lick Monster. Wish me luck." It has been viewed over 2 million times. In the comments, dozens of people announce their own plans to visit the trestle, to finish what she started, to prove what she couldn't. The beast's hunting ground has gone global, and it no longer needs to call anyone. They come willingly, cameras ready, chasing immortality of a different kind. Show some love by hitting like and subscribe button. There are more dark legends waiting to be told, and your support keeps them coming. Dr. Richard Henson, an acoustics researcher from the University of Louisville, spent 3 months in 2014 studying the Pope Lick trestle with equipment sensitive enough to detect frequencies below the threshold of human hearing. His hypothesis was elegant and rational: infrasound. Those low-frequency vibrations between 1 and 20 Hz that humans can't consciously hear but physiologically respond to might explain everything attributed to the beast. Trains generate massive amounts of infrasound as they approach. The vibrations travel through the steel structure of a bridge, creating a resonance chamber that amplifies these frequencies. Studies have documented infrasound's ability to induce feelings of unease, panic, visual hallucinations, and disorientation. The symptoms align disturbingly well with witness accounts. The sensation of a presence, the compulsion to move in irrational directions, even the perception of glowing eyes, which could be the brain's attempt to rationalize optic nerve stimulation caused by low-frequency pressure waves. Henson's recordings captured significant infrasonic activity during train passages, with peaks at frequencies known to affect human behavior. His published paper suggested that victims on the trestle were essentially being neurologically hijacked by physics, their panicked brains filling in narrative gaps with the available cultural framework, a monster. It was science at its most elegant, explaining the supernatural with measurable phenomena. But the infrasound hypothesis has gaps wide enough to fall through. Jack Baum's 1988 encounter occurred at 12:30 a.m., more than 40 minutes before any scheduled train. Railroad records confirm this. He and Sarah heard the calling and saw the creature in complete silence, the trestle motionless beneath their feet. No approaching vibrations, no mechanical explanation for what pulled them forward or what stood watching from the shadows. Then there's the specificity problem. Infrasound might induce generalized hallucinations, but it can't explain why multiple witnesses, separated by decades and with no connection to each other, describe hearing their own names called in the voices of people they know. The phenomenon is too precise, too personal. How does a low-frequency vibration know that Jack's father had a slight rasp in his voice, or that Sarah's mother always stretched out the first syllable of her daughter's name? Daytime encounters further complicate the scientific model. In 2009, 3 hikers photographed something on the trestle at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, a time when no trains were scheduled within a 4-hour window. The figure in their photos is distant and unclear, but undeniably present. One of the hikers, Maria Gomez, reported feeling an overwhelming compulsion to approach it despite the obvious danger of crossing the bridge in daylight. No train, no infrasound, same effect. Dr. Henson himself acknowledged the limitations of his research in a footnote that few people read. Infrasound may explain some experiences at the trestle, but not all of them. The human variable remains unpredictable, and certain documented encounters fall outside the parameters of current acoustic theory. Perhaps the most unsettling possibility is that both explanations are true. The infrasound weakens psychological defenses, creates vulnerability, opens a door in the mind. And something that has waited at that bridge for decades, or longer, knows exactly when that door is open and how to walk through it. Show some love by hitting like and subscribe button. There are more dark legends waiting to be told, and your support keeps them coming. There's a story that rarely makes it into the sensationalized retellings, buried in local folklore that predates the modern legend by nearly a century. Old-timers in Fisherville, the nearest community to Pope Lick Creek, occasionally reference a bridge keeper, not as a monster, but as a guardian spirit that has always watched over dangerous crossings. In this version, the entity's purpose isn't to hunt but to warn, to frighten people away from a place where the physical danger has always been the real killer. Consider the pattern from this perspective. The beast appears most frequently to those who venture onto the trestle at night, when visibility is lowest and trains are hardest to hear approaching. Its methods, the hypnotic calling, the terrifying appearance, the chase, could be interpreted not as predation but as escalating warnings. First it calls, trying to draw attention to its presence. Then it reveals itself, hoping its appearance will trigger retreat. Finally, if these fail, it pursues, forcing people to flee back to safety. The problem is that fear, once triggered, doesn't discriminate between threats. A person running from the beast might run straight into a train. Someone frozen by the sight of glowing eyes in the darkness won't hear the warning horn until it's too late. The guardian, if that's what it is, has become inseparable from the danger it tries to prevent. This interpretation gains disturbing weight when you consider the witnesses who survived. Nearly all of them describe a moment when they broke free from the beast's influence. Jack when Sarah's ankle snapped, Rokel's friends when they pressed into the support beams, others when they finally ran in the right direction. It's almost as if the creature releases them once they've moved toward safety, its purpose fulfilled. The dead are those who ran the wrong way, who froze completely, who let the legend override their survival instinct. But if the beast is a protector, it has failed catastrophically. Its existence has transformed a dangerous but avoidable trestle into a pilgrimage site for thrill seekers. Every attempt to frighten people away feeds the legend that draws more victims. The Guardian paradox is complete. The more it tries to protect, the more it attracts those who want to test themselves against it. Perhaps the most disturbing question isn't whether the Pope Lick beast is real, but whether it matters. Something kills at that bridge with reliable frequency. Call it a cryptid, call it physics and poor judgment, call it a protective curse gone wrong. The deaths are real, the warnings are consistent, yet people keep coming, cameras ready, convinced they'll be different, that they'll capture proof or escape unscathed or finally solve the mystery. The beast, whatever it is, understands something fundamental about human nature. We can't resist a call, especially one that comes in our own voice, speaking our own name, daring us to step onto the bridge and discover what's waiting in the darkness. We are the legend's fuel. Our curiosity is the real monster. And somewhere in the Kentucky night, standing on rusted iron above Pope Lick Creek, something watches the next set of headlights pull up to the tree line and waits to see if this time will be different. It never is. Show some love by hitting like and subscribe button. There are more dark legends waiting to be told, and your support keeps them coming. Thank you.